squished, right? It's tight. You want it to hold your shit together. I keep it low because one, I remember when I started deadlifting, I got like sciatic pain.
Like the
right where the pelvis connects to the lower back.
yeah.
Right? So I was like, I don't like that very much. So I'm gonna put the belt as close to that area to provide intra-abdominal pressure in that specific area. So what happens is when you wear a belt, you probably already understand how a belt works, but you apply force against it, and it gets stiff throughout the entire thing. But the variance there is pretty constant every time you train, right? If you train beltless, you're at the mercy of your recovery, essentially, right? You might think that you're fully recovered here, but you're always like 80% here, 70% here, maybe 69% here, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is when you tighten those muscles, it's gonna make sure that the column, which is your spine, doesn't shift around, right? It provides compression on that area. So if you wear a INSA belt or SBD belt, it's a constant thing because you just need to breathe in, and that amount of intra-abdominal pressure is going to be the same every single time. That's the important part, right? Yeah. It's mostly safety. Obviously it's going to add kilos on, but it's a safety thing. And I've never hurt my lower back ever again. And that lower back injury was from a fucking overhead press, not from a deadlift. Once that belt is on, you find your foot placement. Your foot placement is going to vary depending on what type of bar it is, right? Because once you start pulling, that initial point where the bar leaves the floor is going to be different each time, and your hips are going to engage at a different point. So what I mean by that is, with a longer bar, you can probably go in for a closer leg stance, because when the bar is bent, your hips sort of engaged here, right? Versus when the bar's stiff, you want to get as much hip engagement as possible, so it would have a little bit of a wider stance. Yeah. Does that make sense? So when I'm on like Alico bars, if you see my 310 in competition, my feet are like this when I'm pulling it, like quite far apart, right? So I get the strongest and the most amount of force off the floor. But with like a whippy bar, you don't need any application of force until like that high, and you're maximizing the leverage by for me, it's using a lot of like outer sweep of the legs, like this. Push my knees towards my arms, and it engages my quads in a certain way. This is a very particular thing, person by person though. Like what works for me might not work for you. All right, so key point, belt on really tight, focusing on a few things. I usually shake my arms forward, so you kind of make a curve in your upper back, right? You probably understand how that works. Obviously, starting with your body like this is pretty much, if I straighten out my back, my hands are actually here, right? If I curve my upper back and not even move my lower body, I'm already at the bar. So you're overcoming that upper area with upper back strength. That's why you see me do heavy rows all the time. Step. And then tense your entire body, essentially. I like tense my hands, tense my legs, and then I come down and pop up. Right?
What do you think of the concept of like people saying it's better to get your hair in top when you're standing up?
So what was that?
What do you think on the concept of people saying when they say, oh, it's better to get the air in at the top than it is to get out at the bottom?
Yeah, that is a really good point, and that's why I start at the top, right? And you'll notice something with my leg being brought back before I even actually pull. It's so this part of my body is straight, so I can get as much volume in as possible. If you're bent over like this, right, you're actually, like, imagine trying to fill up a Coke can that's folded. You're not gonna get as much volume. So when you're up straight like this, embracing that belt, you're tightening your legs up, you're making sure your arm's in the right position, and then you come down. It's almost like you're coiling yourself up like a spring, making everything hard and pushing yourself down and popping out of it. That's the concept. You see Larry Wills do it. You see John Hack do it. Mostly guys who have that a certain build. Some other guys like Steffi Cohen's ex-boyfriend. His name's, I can't remember his fucking name, but some people need to kind of get in position at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work for everybody. And I learned this very early on, trying to apply it to different lifters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't start here.
Yes. Something to focus on, right? When you're getting that intra-abdominal pressure at the bottom with the wraps, you obviously can't get as tight like this, right? So that's why I bring my leg back like this. It imitates standing up. So I brace, and then I come in and maybe get one more sip of air and I push off.